Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. By way of introduction, my name is Scott Schwartz and I am a student here with the Curtin School of Information Systems. I'm also a consultant with PricewaterhouseCoopers and have been so since January 2016 as part of the Information Systems Professional Practice Unit. I'm sorry I couldn't be present with you this afternoon. I'm not sure if you've been made aware, but I'm currently about to get on a plane to Sydney to interview with Qantas of Australia. Somewhat ironically, I will be flying Virgin Australia, however, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon I'll have a good indication of whether I'll have a job with them in the near future. Assuming I haven't been called to board the plane, I should be able to take questions at the end of this video package via video call. So start brainstorming whilst you watch this and hopefully we shall see how this pans out. Today I want to talk to you about what universities need to provide their students. As graduates of universities leave, they are leaving with a degree, a collection of knowledge and technical skills, and a passion for the field they are looking to enter as a result of their studies. Except that's not really all it takes in the workforce to be valuable to an employer. Students require more than just a technical capability. They need interpersonal skills like the ability to professionally communicate with one another. They need analytical thinking skills to digest a wide and vast amount of information they'll be provided and to inform their decisions to make appropriate choices for their businesses. And finally, they need to work in a team. After all, I'm sure we can all agree that nobody works alone anymore and there's no I in team. The rest of my session will focus on why these skills are important, examples of where they can be applied and when they're relevant, and also why I believe universities fail to educate students adequately in these areas. Interpersonal skills are something that all graduates need. They use them every single day and as such are a fundamental aspect of day-to-day business operations. Sadly, more often than not, graduates come out of university with a lack of interpersonal skills and as such damages their value to their employer. Before I get too far into my discussion, I just wanted you all in the room to have a bit of a brainstorm for a second. I'd like you to think to the last time you were involved in a graduate recruitment session. In particular, I'd like to imagine yourself as a recruiter or an interviewer. You hold all the power in your hands to make or break this young graduate's dreams. For some of you in the room who like a good power trip, this must be feeling pretty nice right about now. Now, I want you to think that there is two candidates that you're interviewing. Applicant 1 is slobbishly dressed with his top button undone. He's got his tie pulled down. He's got a creased shirt that hasn't seen an iron since before it was purchased. He smells of body odour. And he answers your questions in such a poor fashion that shows no real thought and is incoherent with the actual argument he's presenting and doesn't actually answer the question you've posed in the first place. This doesn't sound too positive, does it? But unfortunately, it happens all the time. I was recently involved in PwC's graduate recruitment campaign, and there were a number of students who were exactly like this. You just can't screen that sort of thing out in an online testing environment or via a video interview. However, the reverse of the above, applicant 2 is dressed to the nines in a sharp suit, tie and a half Windsor knot, done up properly, a crisp shirt that looks like it's fresh from the dry cleaners, and provides answers that are well thought out, that answer your question in a timely fashion and have actually answered the problem you've put before them with good thought. This is unfortunately the minority of graduate applicants. Those who come in looking like an applicant 2 are much more likely to get the job because they have put in effort into being presentable and interview well through their ability to use a variety of interpersonal skills. When we consider interpersonal skills, this is defined as the tools people use to interact and communicate with individuals within an organisational environment. It is often considered just to be verbal and non-verbal communication skills. However, it's much further reaching than this. It also includes listening skills, negotiation, problem solving, decision making and assertiveness. In a business scenario, there is not a day that goes by where you won't use all of these skills. Someone with excellent interpersonal skills will be able to deliver a greater performance and greater quality in their work. They'll be able to understand the work they're doing through their listening skills. They'll be able to negotiate with their managers when a deadline is becoming unfeasible. They use their problem-solving skills to support the decisions they're making for the delivery of their work. and remain assertive when delivering challenging results as part of their output. Whilst these skills are naturally developed within some students, others will require some help building these. This is where universities need to take a hand in doing this. Curtin currently offers an academic writing course to help students who struggle with their writing skills. They also offer a leadership program, which teaches some of these themes, but it's not really core to the content. As such, they don't really foster these skills in their curriculum. It could be argued that assignments such as group assignments in universities will teach students these skills, but I believe any student would agree that group assignments are quite often the worst possible part of the university experience on a whole number of reasons. You can ask them about that though. There needs to be an improvement in the means by which students develop their interpersonal skills, and universities will play a large part in how this is done. They need to provide opportunities for students to utilise and to develop these skills with the right resources to support this learning. Perhaps when they're considering how to improve their teaching of problem-solving skills as part of the interpersonal skill set, they could consider teaching about analytical thinking, which brings me quite nicely to my next point. Analytical thinking skills is an essential skill in the workplace, as they assist graduates to help gather information, to articulate, to visualise, and to solve complex problems. Without analytical thinking skills, graduates can often and will make ill-informed decisions. These often also limit their chances of promotion and can make their boss question their abilities and ultimately distrust the graduate. Analytical thinking is considered to be a process by which you step by step break down complex information and situations to develop an overall conclusion, answer, or solution. Analytical thinking is driven by fact and evidence that will support the conclusion reached, rather than based on opinion, which is deemed to be critical thinking. To illustrate this better, at PwC I am working within the IT risk team. The IT risk team looks heavily at governance, strategy, and security of information and operational technology assets within a business environment. As part of a recent engagement on behalf of an international mining operation, I was sent around the country and to South Africa to assess the security of the operational technology environments at a number of their sites. While assessing the security vulnerabilities within these environments, we were assessing it against some of the most commonly seen security vulnerabilities that most OT environments possess. And whilst it would have been easy to simply slap some recommendations together that were very one-size-fits-all for any organisation, without a lot of thinking and highly opinion-driven, what we actually did was we needed to validate what we recommend, as it was required to improve their environment. Doing so uses analytical thinking skills, analysing the wide variety of information, or lack of information depending on the client and how open they were, sifting through said information and finding what actually supports the claims we're making and the recommendations we are looking to get implemented. Whether this be data or configurations, processes, policies, you name it, we've probably looked. This type of analytical thinking is often a weakness within university graduates, and there's a number of reasons why this is the case. I believe part of the reason is the style of assessments they're given. Many assignments are handed out by a university which focus on repeating the content that's been taught to them in classes and lectures, and by doing so, the evidence is already presented to them, so they rarely have to analyse complex information to support their answers they're giving. Additionally, in instances where they are given more of an opportunity to do so, often students will write their opinions using their critical thinking, and at the end start searching Google to find supporting evidence, which often isn't highly relevant to the argument they're actually putting forward. And then ultimately they bet on the fact that their lecturers won't notice. This weakens their ability to use this type of thinking in the workforce, and often requires large investments of time by employers to demonstrate this type of thinking, or pairing the new graduates off with more experienced team members and using their time to build the understanding whilst underutilising that of said experienced staff member. To build their analytical thinking skills, there should be more emphasis placed upon students to develop these throughout the course of their university careers. If developed correctly, it stands to benefit the employer, as they're hiring a much more quality candidate from the outset. It benefits the graduate as they're more desirable to employers, and it benefits the university as employers will recognise the higher quality candidates coming from that institution and going forward will work with that institution to source more of said graduates. The benefits are largely a team effort between the universities and their students to ensure the correct skills are fostered to support their careers and employers' needs. This leads nicely to my third and final point on which skills universities need to provide their students to be successful in the workforce. Teamwork is also hugely essential to working in a professional environment. As much as we'd like to convince ourselves that we can work alone, human nature clearly demonstrates that we work together as teams, and the countless hours we do at work with people reiterates that we need to work as teams, as there's simply no way we could deliver the projects and the work we believe to be valuable without teamwork. Without teamwork, graduates may find themselves feeling extremely lonely in the workplace, leading to suboptimal performance, and employers will find that their work is often of a poor quality, as they were not open to sharing the work with their team and getting input to promote a diversity in thinking towards the problem. Teamwork is defined as the combined action of a group, especially when effective and efficient. Working as a team is critical to the workplace, as many people bring different skill sets, different thinking, and different approaches to a problem, and are often better suited than others at certain areas of a problem. For example, working on a recent large project for the power generation organisation, our team composed of a number of members with a diverse skill set, bringing together operational technology, cybersecurity, technical hacking skills to shut down their systems, corporate IT security, and governance experts to deliver an outcome to drive future strategic decisions to better the organisation's security resilience. Something that desperately needs to happen, as there are a lot of vulnerabilities that somebody with a bit of time could shut down pretty much the whole of Perth's electricity production sites and the grids with it. This type of teamwork isn't a particularly strong quality which graduates leave university with, and it's primarily due to the way universities build teamwork into their curriculums. For example, earlier I mentioned that group assignments are probably the bane of all students' existences, and with good reason. There are just so many negative experiences with these assignments from the team members they work with, where they either flake on the work and don't do anything, or they deliver suboptimal work that doesn't match the students' expectations. As such, in either of these instances, should these occur, a student will ultimately end up with a poorer result than what they would have done if they'd delivered the work on their own, or perceived to have received if they delivered this on their own. In a business environment, this simply wouldn't happen. If somebody wasn't pulling their weight or delivering poor quality work, they would be pulled up on it by their manager or person of authority on the team, and disciplined accordingly. But this doesn't happen within a group assignment environment, and students are left to feel powerless as they cannot actually escalate these concerns. As such, they develop negative attitudes towards teamwork, and this is often brought with them into the workforce to be dealt with by their employers to break down these negative and highly unproductive attitudes. Universities need to change their approach and foster an environment by which students will learn to work productively and efficiently in teams. This could potentially be achieved through more accountability placed on individual team members within a group assignment scenario, or simply by letting students select team members they're comfortable with that they would actually choose to work with in the real world. At the end of the day, teamwork is a centre point of the work we complete every day, but teamwork alone will not make the perfect graduate. Neither will analytical thinking or interpersonal skills if they're only operating within a silo from each other. A well-rounded graduate will have all of these skills as they will work in tandem with one another. The ability to think analytically will allow them to understand and digest difficult situations and come out with a decision that benefits their teams. The ability to work in a team will allow them to deliver the best outcome from the project they're working on to their client or internally facing clients. And finally, the ability to articulate their output to their client through well-rounded interpersonal skills will ensure that their high-quality deliverable will be acknowledged and considered valuable to their organisation. But to get these attributes, more needs to be done at the university level to foster and nurture these skill sets within their graduate populations. These are the skills that employers want and the skills that students need to reach their potential. I'd like to thank you for your attention and participation this afternoon, and I would like you to welcome any questions now if we were able to make question time happen via the magic of the internet.